2 days ago, my family and I were in a pretty terrible car accident. I posted about it yesterday, and the response was honestly pretty overwhelming. The important part is everybody is okay. My kids walked away almost completely unharmed, and I walked away with a broken hand, concussion, some cuts, and I'm pretty sore. But there's been a lot of people reaching out, and I just wanted to give an update and tell you what happened. We were on our way back from camping for the weekend, and I was in our truck with 4 of our kids. We were hooked up to our toy hauler with our side-by-side in it. My wife was in the car behind us, but they were a couple miles back because my oldest kid has his learner's permit and needed some highway driving time. And in front of us was one of my best friends in the world. His name's Jay. And they were pretty far ahead of us at this point. Our trailer started swaying side to side. And I tried to straighten it out, but it got worse. And before I knew it, the truck was just being dragged across the highway. And I was just doing everything I possibly could to keep it on the road. And I started yelling back to the kids to hold on because I didn't know how it was going to end up at that point. So I'm screaming for them to hold on. And there was a point where I knew we were going to crash, and I looked out in front of me and I could see how far away Jay was because I had slowed down well before this, and I could see how far away he was. And Jay is my safe person when it comes to emergencies. He's the calm, cool, collected one that knows exactly what to do. And I remember looking forward, and I had the thought of, he's not gonna see us crash. And then we hit a point where I knew the truck was gonna roll, and I was just screaming for the kids to hold on. As we went over, it kind of went over sideways and forward a little bit, and it rolled over the driver's seat, which was good. I felt the roof cave in, and it hit my head as we went over, and definitely knocked me pretty silly. And the next thing I know, I am frantically trying to get out of the truck and get to the kids. And I tried to get out my driver's side window, but the window was pretty crushed, and it was kind of sitting on the road. So I was trying to get out, and I got kind of stuck in the window. And I hit this point where I was like, I can pull myself through, or I can go back in and try to get out another way. And so I did. I went back into the truck, and one of my kids was in the passenger seat. So I reached over and got him unbuckled and got him out the truck through his window. I got him out the window, and I got out the window directly behind him, and I immediately ran around to the back to get the other kids. And I ran around, and I remember my youngest he was crying and hanging, upside down in his car seat. And I could see the other 2 kids moving around behind him, which was relieving. And as I was coming up, I was screaming for my 8-year-old and just said, like, hey, can you get unbuckled? Can you get unbuckled? And he said yes. As I was getting my 3-year-old unbuckled, I don't know what sound it was that I heard, but it wasn't Jay's voice, but it was, I don't know if it was brakes or the sound of his truck's engine just screaming, but something told me that Jay was there. Something had told Jay to look in his mirror, and as he did, he saw us just losing control. And he just completely locked his brakes up and probably almost rolled his trailer flipping around to get to me. So locked his brakes up, spun his wheel around, went off the side of the road, and just put his foot on the floor and almost blew his truck up to get to us. So by the time I was getting our youngest out, Jay was there. So I had gotten him out, and as I'm getting him out, my two other children in the back were unbuckled and ready to crawl out after him, because my 8-year-old, when I asked him if he could get unbuckled, he got himself unbuckled and then went to his sister, and he made sure that she got unbuckled too. And her leg got caught up in a seatbelt and he got her untangled, but either way, he had them both ready to get out of the truck as soon as the youngest came out. So within, I would say, a minute of us hitting the ground, everybody was out. But I do remember as my daughter was coming out, I heard Jay like, whoa, no, because she had put her hands in the glass and cut her hands a little bit. But every single one of us got up and walked away. Two of my kids had some cuts, but the cuts were from getting out of the truck. I probably looked a lot more rough than I was because of the way people were looking at me. Because at this point, I'm running around just like double checking my kids, right? And I had so many people that were just like, "Sir, are you okay?" Like, there was a nurse there, and come to find out, we were a couple hours away from home, and my children's school nurse just happened to be there, so she already knew who the kids were, and I'm pretty sure it was her. I don't remember for sure, but she was trying to help me. I think it was her, because I'm just dripping blood everywhere, and it just looked a lot worse than it was. And then I turn around and I see my wife, and she is just way down the road and just hysterically running as fast as she could. And I vaguely remember thinking, like, why is she so far away? Because what had happened is they were a couple miles behind us, my kid just getting used to highway driving, and they came up over a hill and just saw us upside down. And in a panic, she didn't know what she was about to see, and based on what it looked like, it was going to be bad. So she told him to pull over, and I swear it was like a half mile away. She was so far away, but she didn't want him to see. And so she was just sprinting down the road. And the whole time as she's running, like, I'm waving at her. I don't know if my hand signals were the right ones to use, but I'm doing this, just waving at her. And then I realized it might not be the best hand signals to be doing this after that happened. And so then I'm like trying to give her the thumbs up, like, everybody's okay. But she was crying and she couldn't see. And all this to say, I'm the kind of parent that anytime I get in the car with my kids, I don't care who buckles them in. If they buckle themselves in, if my wife buckles them in, it does not matter who buckles them in. I'm the parent that is walking around the car and tightening everybody's seatbelts. And I did that. That morning as we were leaving, I went and tightened everybody's seatbelt, and none of them moved an inch. And I've never been more grateful for car seats or seat belts. I've never been more grateful for life as I am now. But I just wanted to say thank you, because the outreach yesterday was just insane. So thank you, really. I'll be getting back to normal content soon. It just might look a little bit different for a while.